Hello and welcome. I thought I would jump on because I believe that I found a really good, or really bad, depending on how you look at it, example of a leader, a minister, a government official behaving with, in my opinion, total disdain for due process, due diligence, honesty, transparency, and also a servant mindset, bearing in mind that they are there to serve. This is a little interchange between Bradley Thomas and the Energy Secretary, Ed Miliband, and they're talking in the middle of a net zero committee meeting. What do you make of this? Listen to how Ed behaves, and indeed watch how he behaves. So let's begin. By the way, it's Bradley Thomas who's going to be asking the questions.
Chair, Secretary of State, yesterday the Shadow Secretary of State asked if you will publish the text of a deal that you signed with China in March of last year, and you dodged the question. You called it a wacky conspiracy theory. In your view, why is asking to publish the text of a deal that you signed on behalf of the UK government a wacky conspiracy theory?
Very good question. Why would it be a wacky conspiracy theory? So right away, I'm thinking this is a little bit irritating. If that's you as well, then okay, have a sit down, relax. It doesn't get any better.
We're simply following the practice of the previous government in relation to I think a 2015 memorandum of understanding. But
so right away, this and then previous government. Seriously, and he's not going to say that just once.
Ask me anything about our relationship with China, Mr. Thomas, and I'll answer.
Okay, so
now look at the look that he's given Bradley Thomas. Look at that gaze. Look at the measured insouciance that his body language shows. He's just wants to brush this guy aside, and that's not the question, Ed, that you were asked at all. Why would he want to know about anything else? He's asking you about the key question about the missing information. Why is it missing? Why is it different for China? What was in that particular set of minutes, if I could call them that?
Ministers in your department have published similar deals relating to Chile and Japan, for instance. Why do different rules apply to China?
Good question. Same question again.
That's the practice that was employed under the previous government. But
Dear. Same answer. Not interested. Same government, not interested.
ask me any questions about our relationship with China and I'll answer them.
I'll answer them. Not what he's asking.
You know, the sort of topics that Parliament deserves to see the detail on include whether this deal involved commitments not to complain to China about slave labour being used in solar production, supply chains, commitments to maintain resilience maintain reliance on Chinese supply chains.
Do ask me, Mr. Thomas, any questions you like.
Good stuff. Why wouldn't we know the details, or at least the headlines?
About our relationship to China.
And this is what I'm doing. So why?
Look at the smile. I mean, let me just look at that. What's that? That's sort of Mandelson-esque, isn't it? What's he doing? What's that about? Answer the damn question, man.
What I'm doing. So why not publish the text of the deal?
Why don't you? As I say, we're following the practice of the previous government.
But
Previous government.
Secretary of State, you've released the text of deals with other countries. Why is China being treated differently?
Good question. This is a good question. Answer the question.
Explain to you that we're following the practice of previous governments. But
I'm asking about this government. This government
do ask me, Mr. Thomas, any questions you like.
Why are you acting like a prat? How's that?
This government has published the text of deals with other countries. Why not release the text of the deal for China?
As I say, we're following the previous practice.
I'm talking about this government, Secretary of State. You've released it for other countries.
We're following the previous practice, as I said. But do ask me any questions about our relationship.
So, essentially he gets cut across. We're talking about this government. Absolutely, that's exactly it. Why are you talking about the last government? This is pathetic. It's absolutely outrageous. And then back to Miliband's rapid blinking and hand flicking. Ask me anything about that relationship. I mean, this is, like I say, irritating. That's a starting point.
With China.
So why not release the text?
Well, I think I've explained to you the practice.
No, you haven't. You've said the last government.
Is that we're following, and with certain countries. Certain countries.
So, why did they do it? Now, maybe we're going to get a bit of detail here. With certain countries, keep going.
We have certain approaches, and with others, we have other approaches.
Yeah, okay. And with China, we took this approach because...
So if there's a different approach to China, why is China different?
Well, as I say, just ask me any questions you like.
It really is almost unbelievable.
And that's what I'm doing. This is the question I would like to ask. So why is China being treated differently?
I've answered the question, Mr. Thomas.
He's answered that quite a few times.
I don't...
Oh, smiling now, see? Yeah, there we go. Well, not really a Duchenne smile, is it? Look at that stare. Look at that look. My goodness. Off the hook. Are we, Ed?
I believe he has. He's made reference to the previous government.
Whether you like the answer is another matter, but he has.
This government has a very inconsistent approach, Chairman. They've released the text of deals with other countries, but not with China.
So why wouldn't they release it? Why isn't it being released? I mean, Miliband could say, well, it's, I don't know, official secrets, if that's true, or something. So this is, this raises suspicions. It's about the sort of the Streisand effect, isn't it? When she said, I'm really angry that people showed my house on Google Earth or whatever it was, and then everybody looked at her house who wasn't remotely interested in the first place, or who weren't remotely interested. And then what do we have here? So now I'm interested in this deal. What went down, Eddie?
Two-tier approach, quite evidently. So if the government is going to apply a uniform approach, why does the Secretary of State not release the text of this deal?
We proceed on the basis of on a certain basis with some countries, and a different and different basis with different countries, as has been the practice of previous governments. But honestly,
previous government again, different basis. That really isn't good enough. There's got to be some sort of answer that wouldn't actually impact national security that he could have given. It's this again, the arrogance of, I'm just going to brush this aside. This is a properly set up, an official committee, but he's not for answering. And the answers that he's given, well, they're not answers to the questions, are they? It's just the previous government. Ask me anything you want about the relationship. If you wrote this in a I don't know, a soap opera, a movie, people would say, this is totally unbelievable. This couldn't happen in real life. It wouldn't happen in real life.
Ask me any questions about our relationship with China, and I'll answer them for you.
And that's what I've been doing, but you haven't answered them, Secretary of State.
Well, you obviously don't have any questions. Actually,
again, the utter arrogance of this. You don't have any questions. How dare you, Miliband? What do you think you're doing? This is awful. He has got a question. He's asked you the question. You've said something about the previous government. No, you're the government now. Sometimes doesn't feel like it, of course. And what answer are you getting? Ask me anything about the relationship. Well, the way you've been ducking and diving this, why bother? Because you don't seem to be anything but a slippery character. How much of the truth would we actually get from you, Sunshine?
About the substance. What is your question on the substance, Mr. Thomas?
Look at that. What is your question on the substance? Cheeky sod.
Substantively, I would like to see the government release the text of this deal, as Parliament deserves to see. Now, the Secretary of State can chuckle and laugh and be evasive around the topic, but it's a serious issue.
Looks to the chair. Again, look at that look at the two of them. You better rule on our side. Laser beams, rule on our side. Hypnosis, or rule on our side, because we know where all the little envelopes are hidden that you don't want opened. But again, I'm obviously being a little bit flamboyant and into total fiction, of course.
Do you have any more questions?
I don't have any further questions.
Okay, thank you.
Look at that look. I do not blame you, sir. I do not blame you. That is absolutely astounding. Absolutely incredible. And there, in my opinion, encapsulated in one short video, is much of what is wrong with the system, much is what is wrong with the establishment, and nobody seems to be saying anything different, at least probably around Miliband. What did that committee think? What happens next? What was the actual answer? How are these guys... I tell you what, if that was in the real world, they'd be out in their ear. That's incompetence. It is disingenuous, at least. It is deflection in the extreme, and you couldn't run a sports team, a community hall, a business with that sort of behaviour at all. If he was anywhere near me, he'd be fired, and I'm going to be polite about that. And what do you think? What do you think? Am I just overreacting to that, or was that just incredible, but not in a good way?